Good morning, family. Welcome back to Gist Mix TV. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the latest updates. And to my old subscribers, I greet you all. Now gather around because what is happening right now in Nollywood is absolutely explosive. Let me tell you something that will make you drop whatever you're holding right now. You know how sometimes you watch a movie and you can just tell that the chemistry between two actors is fake. Like they're reading lines from a script and counting down the minutes until they can go home. Well, what's happening between Sonia Uche and Brian Okpora is the complete opposite of that, and honestly, the entire internet is losing its collective mind. I'm talking about grown adults analyzing body language frame by frame, relationship experts coming out of retirement, and your aunties in the WhatsApp group suddenly becoming FBI agents. The energy is unmatched, the drama is real, and baby, we are all here for it. So here's where this madness started. Sonia and Brian were cast together in a romantic movie, right? Nothing unusual about that. Nollywood pairs actors all the time. But from the very first day on set, something felt different. The crew members started whispering. The makeup artists started noticing things. Even the cameramen were confused because these two weren't just delivering lines, they were living them. One crew member literally said that sometimes they would forget to yell cut because the chemistry was so natural it felt like they were invading someone's private moment. Can you imagine that? You're being paid to film a scene, but you're standing there feeling like you're intruding on real love. That's the level of connection we're talking about here. And listen, Nollywood has seen its fair share of on-screen couples who had great chemistry. We've watched actors make us believe in love for 2 hours and then go home to completely different lives. But this situation with Sonia and Brian hit different from day one. People who have worked in the industry for decades started saying they hadn't seen anything like this in years. The way Brian would look at Sonia when the cameras weren't rolling, the way she would laugh at his jokes with her whole body, the way they seemed to communicate without words. It was like watching two people discover each other in real time, and everyone around them could feel it. Social media detectives started pulling up behind-the-scenes footage, zooming in on hand placements, analyzing the way they stood next to each other during breaks. TikTokers made compilation videos. Twitter fingers started typing. Instagram bloggers woke up from their sleep to post. The entire internet became an investigation unit, and honestly, can you blame them? When something this real happens in an industry where everything is usually scripted, people pay attention. Now, here's where things got really interesting and the rumors started turning into something much bigger. There was this one particular day on set when Sonia looked visibly exhausted. You know that kind of tired where you're not just physically drained but emotionally worn out. Maybe she had been working back-to-back shoots, maybe she had personal things weighing on her mind, we don't know the full story. But what we do know is that Brian noticed immediately. And what he did next shocked everyone on that set into complete silence. This man literally stopped the entire production. Not a subtle suggestion to take 5 minutes. Not a quiet word with the director. He full-on halted everything and told the director directly that Sonia needed a break. He said, and I quote, "Give her 10 minutes. She needs to breathe." The set went quiet. Producers looked at each other. The director was stunned. Because in Nollywood, time is money, and nobody just stops production like that. But Brian didn't care about any of that. His only concern was making sure Sonia was okay, and he was willing to stand up to everyone to make it happen. Now let me tell you why this moment hit differently for everyone who witnessed it. Sonia Uche is not a small actress. She's not someone who needs saving or protecting in the industry. She's talented, she's strong, she's been handling herself professionally for years. But the way Brian defended her wasn't about thinking she was weak. It was about seeing someone he cared about struggling and immediately stepping up without being asked. It was protective without being controlling. It was caring without being performative. And the people on that set said they had never seen any actor defend another actor like that before, especially not publicly in front of the whole crew. One makeup artist later said she got goosebumps watching it happen because it felt like she was witnessing something rare and genuine. The kind of care you can't fake even if you tried. But wait, because it gets even more intense from here. After that incident, people started paying even closer attention to Brian and Sonia. And during a quiet moment between takes, when the cameras were being reset and most people were focused on technical stuff, Brian was sitting with a small group of cast and crew members. The conversation was casual at first, just normal on-set chatter about the movie and the scenes they were filming. But then someone jokingly asked Brian if playing romantic roles ever got confusing, blurring the lines between acting and reality. And that's when Brian said something that made everyone freeze. He got quiet for a second, like he was deciding whether to be honest or brush it off. And then he just said it plainly. He said it started as professional work, just doing their jobs and delivering good performances. Then it naturally evolved into friendship because they spent so much time together and realized they genuinely enjoyed each other's company. But then, he admitted, somewhere along the way it became something more. He said, "Now I want her in ways I didn't plan." Just like that. No dramatic music. No movie moment. Just raw honesty that hung in the air and changed everything. The people who heard him say this later described it as one of those moments where time seems to stop. Because Brian Okpora is not known for being overly emotional or dramatic. He's mature, he's measured, he's the kind of man who thinks before he speaks. So for him to openly admit that he had developed real feelings, that this had gone beyond friendship and professional chemistry, it meant something serious was happening. One person who was there said you could literally see the weight of his words, like he had been carrying this truth inside and finally decided to let it out. And once he said it, there was no taking it back. The cat was out of the bag, the feelings were confirmed, and everyone who heard it knew they had just witnessed something significant. Now, if you thought that was the peak of this story, baby, hold on to your edges because what happened next sent the entire internet into a complete frenzy. During another conversation, this time more private but still overheard by a few trusted people, Brian dropped an absolute bombshell. He mentioned, almost casually but with complete seriousness, that he was planning a wedding. Not thinking about it. Not considering it someday in the future. Planning it. Present tense. Active preparation. And when someone asked who the lucky woman was, he smiled in that knowing way and said that Sonia wasn't just part of the plan. She was the plan. The whole plan. The only plan. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. Sonia is not an option among other options. She is not someone he's considering. She is the plan. Period. Full stop. No alternatives. When this information leaked, and trust me, in Nollywood nothing stays secret for long, social media completely lost it. Twitter went into overdrive. Instagram bloggers started posting multiple times a day. TikTokers created reaction videos. YouTube channels started doing deep dives. Everyone and their grandmother had an opinion. Some people were screaming with excitement, celebrating what looked like a genuine love story unfolding before our eyes. Others were skeptical, questioning if it was all publicity for the movie. Some were heartbroken because they had been shipping Sonia with other people. And then there were those who just couldn't believe that Brian, who had always been so private about his personal life, was suddenly ready to settle down. The comment sections became war zones. Group chats were on fire. Voice notes were flying back and forth. It was absolute chaos in the best and most dramatic way possible. But here's what really got people even more emotional and invested in this whole situation. Brian didn't just say he wanted to marry Sonia and leave it at that. He apparently has been planning actual details, and some of these details are so thoughtful and intentional that even the most cynical people started believing this was real. One of the most touching things that leaked was about the wedding location. Now, you would expect a big Nollywood wedding to happen in Lagos or Abuja or maybe even Dubai, right? Somewhere flashy and glamorous where all the cameras can capture every moment for Instagram. But that's not what Brian chose. According to sources close to him, he picked a quiet, intimate location that has deep emotional significance. And here's the part that made people cry: this location is connected to Sonia's childhood. It's a place she apparently mentioned once in passing during one of their long conversations, probably not even thinking much about it. But Brian remembered. He paid attention. He took note of something that mattered to her and decided to build one of the most important moments of their lives around it. Think about that for a second. In a world where people barely listen to each other, where conversations happen but nobody really pays attention, where details get forgotten 5 minutes after they are shared, this man remembered something Sonia said casually and turned it into the foundation of their wedding plans. That level of attention and care is rare. That level of thoughtfulness shows that he's not just interested in the idea of marriage or the public image of being a married man. He's interested in her specifically, in what makes her happy, in honoring her story and her journey. When people heard about this detail, even the skeptics started softening. Because you can't fake that kind of consideration. You can't manufacture that level of genuine care for publicity. And speaking of the wedding, Brian apparently has some very specific ideas about how he wants this whole thing to go down, and honestly, it's refreshing in an age where everything has to be a spectacle. He told his close circle that this wedding is going to be private and sacred. No paparazzi camping outside. No social media live streams. No pressure to perform for the cameras or create content for blogs. Just peace, love, intimacy, and a small circle of people they truly trust and care about. Now, in Hollywood, that's practically revolutionary. Celebrity weddings usually become major productions with hundreds of guests, multiple outfit changes, and enough drama to fuel gossip blogs for months. But Brian wants none of that. He wants something real and meaningful where the focus is actually on the commitment and the love, not on who or what or which celebrity showed up. And honestly, that tells you everything you need to know about his priorities and what kind of man he is. But wait, there's more, because Brian apparently has a wedding gift planned for Sonia, and the mystery around this gift has people going absolutely crazy with speculation. Here's what we know. It's not a ring, because obviously, she'll get a ring. It's not a house, though that would be nice. It's something deeply personal, symbolic, and emotionally significant. Something that only the two of them would fully understand. And when someone asked Brian about it, he smiled and said, she will cry when she sees it. Just that. No other details. No hints. Just the promise that whatever this gift is, it's going to hit Sonia right in the heart. Now, can you imagine the speculation this has caused? People are guessing everything from a photo album documenting their journey to a recreated moment from her childhood to something connected to a dream she once shared with him. The mystery is killing everyone, and honestly, that's probably exactly what Brian wanted. Keep it private, keep it meaningful, keep it between them. Now, we can't talk about Sonia's love life without addressing the elephant in the room, and that elephant's name is Maurice Sam. For those who don't know, there was a time when people heavily shipped Sonia with Maurice Sam. They had undeniable chemistry on screen, and rumors about them being together in real life circulated for a while. But things didn't work out, and eventually, that chapter closed. So naturally, when Brian's intentions became public, someone had the audacity to ask him about Maurice and Sonia's past. And let me tell you, the way Brian handled this question was pure class. He didn't throw shade. He didn't get defensive. He didn't try to diminish whatever Sonia and Maurice had. He simply said, the past taught her lessons. I'm here for her future. Drop the mic, exit stage left. That response was so mature, so confident, so secure that even people who were Team Maurice had to respect it. Brian wasn't threatened by Sonia's history because he understood something fundamental. Her past helped shape who she is, but he's focused on building what comes next. That's the energy of a man who knows his worth and knows what he wants. And what about Sonia in all of this? Because obviously, everyone wants to know how she's responding to all these plans and declarations and public displays of intention. Well, Sonia being Sonia, she's handled it with grace and a touch of mystery that has only made people more curious. When a reporter asked her directly about the wedding rumors, she didn't give a straight yes or no. She didn't confirm or deny anything explicitly. She just smiled, blushed in that way that gives everything away, and said, God is in control. Now, people who know Sonia and have followed her career said that reaction alone is practically a confirmation. Because Sonia is usually very composed and media trained. She knows how to dodge questions professionally. But this time, she blushed. She got shy. She smiled like someone who's holding a beautiful secret. And that response told people everything they needed to know without her actually saying the words. Even Sonia's mother, the legendary Uche Nancy, seems to be sending signals, and you know when the mother gets involved, things are serious. Shortly after all these rumors started circulating, Uche Nancy posted something cryptic on social media. She wrote, "When God writes a story, no man can edit it." Now, she didn't mention any names. She didn't tag anyone or add context. But the timing was suspiciously perfect. Fans immediately started connecting dots. Some interpreted it as her blessing for Brian and Sonia. Others saw it as her way of saying she's watching how things unfold and trust in divine timing. Either way, the fact that Mama got online to drop that particular message at that particular time added another layer to this entire saga. Because in African culture, especially in Igbo culture, parental approval and blessing matter immensely. So if Uche Nancy is subtly co-signing this relationship through spiritual posts, that's significant. Now here's something that really shows Brian's character and what kind of partner he intends to be. In conversations with his close friends, he's made it very clear that he has zero intention of limiting Sonia's career or making her feel like she has to choose between marriage and her professional dreams. He explicitly told people that he wants Sonia to continue doing everything she loves doing. Acting, producing, creating content, building her brand, everything. He said his role is not to cage her or restrict her or make her feel guilty about working. His words were, "I'm not here to cage her. I'm here to support her." And in an industry where so many relationships fail because of career pressures and jealousy and insecurity about who's more successful, that mindset is refreshing and rare. Brian understands that Sonia's career is not in competition with their relationship. It's part of who she is, and he wants to celebrate that, not suppress it. But the plot thickens even more because apparently, Brian has already taken some very serious traditional steps that show this is not just talk or social media hype. Sources claim that Brian quietly introduced Sonia to a very private, elderly family member. Now, this might not sound like a big deal, but context matters. This particular relative is someone Brian rarely introduces to anyone. Even people he's known for years haven't met this person. So the fact that he brought Sonia into that inner circle, that sacred family space, signals that his intentions are beyond serious. In many African cultures, introducing someone to your elders, especially the ones you deeply respect, is a statement. It's saying, "This person is important to me, and I want your blessing and approval." So Brian taking that step quietly, without fanfare or social media posts, shows that while the internet is going crazy with speculation, he's actually moving with intention and purpose behind the scenes. And here's another detail that has fans playing detective like their lives depend on it. Over the past few weeks, people have noticed that Sonia has been wearing a particular bracelet repeatedly. She wore it on different movie sets. She wore it during interviews. She wore it in casual Instagram posts. Now normally, nobody would care that much about jewelry. Actresses wear different pieces all the time. But this bracelet stood out because Sonia kept wearing it consistently, which is unusual for someone who usually switches up her accessories. Naturally, fans started investigating, zooming in on photos, trying to identify the brand, looking for clues. And according to rumors, this bracelet is actually a gift from Brian, and it supposedly has a hidden meaning that only the two of them understand. Whether it's an inside joke, a reference to a special moment they shared, or a symbol of something deeper, nobody knows for sure. But the fact that she's chosen to wear it so consistently suggests it means something significant to her. Then there's this absolutely wild story that has been circulating about Brian's work schedule, and if it's true, it shows just how much his priorities have shifted. Apparently, Brian turned down a major movie role that would have required him to work outside the country for an extended period. Now, people who know Brian personally say he has never, and I mean never, turned down work for personal reasons. He's always been dedicated, professional, career-focused, the kind of actor who says yes to opportunities and figures out the logistics later. But this time, he said no. He reportedly declined the role because accepting it would mean being away from Sonia during a period when she was going through a stressful time. He chose her peace and presence over a career opportunity. Let that sink in. In an industry where people sacrifice relationships for roles all the time, this man chose differently. And that choice speaks volumes about where his heart is and what he values. People close to Sonia have also noticed changes in her that go beyond what cameras can capture. One friend allegedly said something that made the whole internet melt. She said, "This glow is not skincare. This is soft love." And honestly, that description is perfect because anyone who's been following Sonia can see that something is different. Her energy has shifted. There's a lightness about her. A peace. A joy that seems to come from somewhere deeper than career success or social media validation. Fans have been commenting on it for weeks, saying she looks happier, more relaxed, more herself. And apparently, the people closest to her confirm that this change coincides with Brian coming into her life in a more serious way. That's the thing about genuine love and healthy relationships, they don't drain you or stress you out. They fill you up. They make you glow from the inside out. And that's exactly what people are seeing in Sonia right now. And if all of that wasn't enough to convince you that something serious is happening, there's one more piece of the puzzle that allegedly leaked. A crew member claimed that during a break on set, they overheard Brian making a phone call to what sounded like a family member. They couldn't hear the entire conversation obviously, but they caught one particular sentence that stopped them in their tracks. Brian apparently said, "Everything is set. I just want her to feel safe." Now, that one sentence carries so much weight. Everything is set suggests that plans are actively in motion, not just ideas floating around. And the fact that his primary concern is making sure Sonia feels safe, secure, and comfortable tells you what kind of foundation he's trying to build. Not a relationship based on excitement or passion alone, but one rooted in safety, trust, and genuine care. That's the kind of love that lasts. So here we are, with all these pieces of information floating around, all these hints and confirmations and mysterious details creating this massive puzzle that the entire internet is trying to solve. And honestly, whether you're Team Brian and Sonia or you're skeptical or you're just here for the drama, you have to admit that this story has captured something special. In a time when celebrity relationships often feel performative or strategic, when PR relationships are a real thing, and when it's hard to know what's genuine and what's for show, Brian and Sonia's connection feels different. It feels organic. It feels real. It feels like two people who found each other in an unexpected place and decided to build something beautiful together despite the cameras and the pressure and the public scrutiny. The truth is, we don't know exactly what the future holds for these two. We don't know if the wedding will happen exactly as rumored or when it might take place. We don't know all the private details they've chosen to keep between themselves. But what we do know is that right now, in this moment, something genuine appears to be unfolding. And in an industry that can be cynical and calculated, watching something authentic emerge is refreshing and hopeful and worth celebrating. So whether you came here as a fan of Sonia, a fan of Brian, or just someone who loves a good love story, this is definitely one to keep watching. Now family, I want to hear from you because your opinions matter and honestly, the comment section is where the real conversation happens. Do you believe Brian and Sonia are genuinely in love, or do you think this might be clever publicity for their project? What do you think Brian's mysterious wedding gift could be? Are you excited about this potential union, or do you think they should take more time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I read every single one and I love seeing different perspectives. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into all things Brian and Sonia, make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already, and turn on your notification bell so you never miss an update. Because trust me, with the way this story is developing, there will definitely be more updates coming soon. Share this video with your friends who love Nollywood gist, your family members who are always asking you what's happening in the celebrity world, and anyone who appreciates a good love story. This is Gist Mix TV, and I'll see you in the next video with more hot gist, more exclusive details, and more stories that keep you coming back. Stay blessed, stay curious, and keep spreading love. Peace.